Well, let's fish out some of these foreign objects. Oh, there's a piece. Ooh. There's a large foreign object. Some gears, pieces. That's awesome. We'll inspect those later. I just wanted to get those out just so we had something to look at for a minute. And so I can show you what we're up against. You can see that shaft in the middle. At the top there, it's nicely cracked. So I do believe that's the culprit of this problem. Unfortunately, I wasn't doing anything exciting at the time other than driving through 10 inches of snow to get it from one building to another. There's a bit of a hill, so decided, hey, I got to get this job done, so let's get this Suburban out and doing that. And that's the fatality of the damages. But hey, it's old, things happen. I'm sure it had a rough life well before me in all its years of life. But anyways, I'm sure this Suburban's done lots of years of service in its past, as it was a BC forestry truck. It started out life, the first 8 years of its life, and then from there it drove back across Canada. And then the guy kept it in Ontario, and he worked it on his farm near Clinton, Ontario. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting story. He was just out there on vacation, flew out. So anyways, he flew his wife back and his youngest, but him and his oldest drove it back across Canada in 1978 in the summer. So that's kind of an interesting story. So I know this truck's got a few dings and dents, but hey, you know, in the spirits of rat rods, we don't worry about perfect paint jobs, do we? We just want to get out there and enjoy an old vehicle for what it is and not worry. Well, we got 20,000 lugs off. The tire's ready to come off. And, you know, take that off. That's hopefully we're taking it apart like the factory recommendations are for this vehicle. If they care. Then we'll get this washer out. And this other nut. And now that's ready to hit the floor, so I better drop this camera. So now I'm going to get this, I'm going to call it the hanger bearing, get it, these two bolts loosened up. I labeled one container for right and one container for left, so then that way I don't get them mixed up, and then that way they're going back in exactly how they came out. So maybe that's not necessary, but that's a precaution I'm going to take. Never done this before, so learn by my mistakes and you'll succeed so much easier than I did. Well, fast forward, I got this axle out on the driver's side, so I'll jump back to the passenger side and I'll get it done with ease. So get rid of the locking hub. So now, for that part, what you're going to want to do, just take this little C-clip off. This gear will come out, and then that'll get you access to the nut that's in behind. And you're going to, well, we get that specialty nut off. Then we get rid of this washer. And then we got one more of those specialty nuts on the other side of that. And then we get the second specialty nut, I'm going to call it. So now we can get the drum off, and then be careful. The wheel bearing, you don't want that to drop on the ground and get all kinds of dust into it and make more work. Well, we're on our way now to success. Now not too much longer, we'll have this axle out. So you want to undo these bolts here. There's like 6 of them, I do believe. Well, we had to bring out an old bar, good old Johnson bar, and put on a little piece of pipe. Get lots of leverage. That beautiful sound of when a bolt cracks. Who knows how long it's been together. It's only a 1970 Canadian Chevy. So yeah, it's been in there a long time. But anyways, we got the crack. Anyways, now it's free. But didn't want to put on a couple old curse words there, you know, just in case you smashed your knuckles or something like that. But I guess they say blood's good for ratings, but we don't post much blood. And single-handedly got the backing plate off. Just kidding. But a couple taps with the hammer and it comes off nicely. So get some type of prying mechanism, whatever you got, get it in there and just work it like so. Gently persuade it, whatever works, and just get her freed up and get her to head that way. And one thing I've learned on this side is leave those nuts off, and that collar there disattaches itself from that unit, so that's super awesome. I didn't know that on the other side, so I'll share that with you. I mean, these older vehicles, they do get quite a bit of grime on them, but anyways, in my defense, but anyways, I did oil this vehicle about 3-4 years ago once I had it ready for the road, so the dust does accumulate to it and adds to the challenge. A little bit of wiggling and jiggling, so that's awesome. When I did the other side, I'll share this tip with you. I left those nuts on, and anyways, it didn't separate itself, but on this side it did. So hey, it's made that a whole lot easier to get the universal joints pulled through. That was with these. The other side was a little bit of cursing, but that's okay. That's all part of the fun. But maybe it's a good thing I'm getting this axle pulled out, because I see there's a little bit of gunge, so we can get everything cleaned up and put back together and try to leave it like 1970 quality, and then hopefully we never have to do it again. So the camera got knocked over. Anyway, something happened to it, so I had to grab another camera. Anyways, so I just got a little pry bar in there. That's what I did. Gently persuaded it. Anyways, so that's what we got. We got it out. It's freed up, but things are looking good. Anyways, this is a world of fun. There's bits and pieces everywhere. Back there on that ledge, there's that piece. And if you listen carefully, you hear the wildlife. You know you're out in the sticks when. Anyways, it's getting close to about 2 in the morning, so maybe they got into someone's spiked rhubarb patch or something like that in the middle of winter. Anyways, we're gonna set it down on stands on this side and call it a night. I gotta source out some parts anyways, but I got a pretty good idea what's going on with the truck now. Like I said, honestly, I've never done this before. Never. So anyways, I just want to set this side down on a jack stand and call it a night. But well, thanks for watching the video, and just sit tight. In a couple of moments we'll get the part where we put it back together and clean it up nice. Well, thanks a lot. stay patient. Well, let's hope I can remember how this all goes back together. I'm almost sure it's been well over a month. Hopefully it didn't hit the 2-month mark. But who's counting? Let's just wing it. We'll get her. So we've been keep fishing with the magnet. Keep finding all kinds of goodies. There's all the little trinkets, memorabilia that we've found inside. Just keep cleaning and cleaning. Clean the snot out of it. And luckily, with all this catastrophe, the ring and pinion gears are fine. So that's a advantage. So what I've done is you got your one spider gear here, your other spider gear back there, and then you're just going to roll it all in together and get it back in. Make sure you keep those spacers in. Film, text, tweet. Get everything done. Make yourself dinner all at once. Ram her together gently. Well, we'll just set the camera here. Hold the washer. Get her to turn. Keep stuff together. Sweet. Get that washer slid over. We're getting there. And make sure you got the right end you want to use. As I see, this shaft has, on this end it has a little bit bigger hole and pin, and then that hole there is smaller, so learn from my mistakes and make sure you got the right hole. And we'll do a first little test. Everything's working out nicely. Well, it's a good thing I separated them. I didn't think I'd be this long in delays, but yeah, it always pays to be a little organized-ish. So, I just want to do a little mini test. Been turning the dry shaft. All is well. I don't hear any weird noises. I don't have any problems with something wanting to bind somewhere. So, I guess the shop dog gave up on me. I'm not getting this job done quickly. Beg my pardon. But anyways, let's carry on. So, cleaning up the contact surface where everything's going to go back together so it's nice and clean. Got the bolts torqued down back to factory specs. Yes, with the ring and pinion gears, when you put in new ones, you definitely want to use one of those high-end gauges apparatuses, so that way you know you don't have your ring and pinion gears too tight or too far away. I did check it, but anyways, I kind of been sorting the parts out as I took it apart, so then that way things went back together nicely, and so far it's panning out. Well, let's carry on. Well, I guess this side's ready for an axle. So we got the axle on the passenger side done. You want to put a new seal in. It's very important to put new seals in, so that way you're not backtracking in the future with fun projects like that. Well, ready for an axle on the driver's side. A little bit of nice gentle turning, and it all slides back together slowly. And just like so, it's back together. Same thing, don't forget to put a new seal on that end as well. So now we got part of that hub assembly going back on. we're getting there. So we got the backing plate and the brakes assembly back on. So now we can put the drum back on. Got the drum on. Repack the bearings. Get that spin nut on all the way. After you get the first nut, torque down the factory specs. Get your washer on. Then the second. Then get the second hub nut. Torque down the factory specs. So we put that sleeve back on, that gear, and you got to get that lock ring back in. And got the wheel torqued back down the factory specs. We'll get this sleeve put back on. And we're ready for the hub. Well, we got the passenger side back together. Cut, paste, repeat on the driver's side. Give it a generous layer of gasket in a tube. Make sure you get all the debris cleaned out of the pot housing and cover. So now we're ready to seal it up and put fluids and test on it. Driving around the laneway, no clangs, no bangs. Turn the wheel this way, that way. Well, we got to start off small before we test on it in the real world. A little bit of a baby molehill, but hey, at least the gears didn't spit back out, so that's a success. Thanks for watching today's video. Cheers.